start. Perfect timing. I did not plan that. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Happy Wednesday. Missed all of you. I've missed streaming. It's been a couple weeks, but we're back. It is now September too. Um, Very exciting time of the year. Getting closer to fall. I love fall. How's everyone doing? Hope y'all are doing well. September is actually kind of exciting for me because some of you know I have a blog that I've plugged a little bit on stream here. I think I have the command for it. I do. So tomorrow, September 2nd, Android Essence is going to turn 6 years old. Tomorrow is the 6 year anniversary of the first blog post I ever wrote and published, which is crazy to think about. 6 years is a really long time. It's cool to look at like everything I've done since then. Um, just wild. Uh, I would say that I remember the date all the time, uh, but the real secret, which I told my friend Prince, is that it was because I got the domain expiration email a couple days ago to make sure I go renew the domain. So that's how I knew that that anniversary was coming up. Um, yeah, it's been a fun journey. I didn't look at it, but I'm gonna pull it up in a sec. Um, I thought I remembered what my first blog post was, but I'm actually wrong. It wasn't my very first one. So, you can't see this because I'm not on the coding screen. Uh, Let me switch over. I was looking at this. My very first blog post. Oh, by the way, sorry. I'm gonna be doing a lot of ADHD jumpiness today. I gotta get my meds refilled. I updated the overlay. This is actually new as of like last time I streamed, but I threw in these YouTube and Twitter icons at the bottom. Um, for now until I can probably add some more there. Would be cool to add like a GitHub one. If I ever do another like subscriber goal thing, I'll put stuff down there. But just playing around with the overlay, keeping it exciting, trying out some new things. And my very first blog post was on how to hide the floating action button when you're scrolling a recycler view. So something like this, where like you see as you scroll down, the button disappears. Um, And that's really cool because like that button takes up a portion of the screen, right? So it blocks some things. So this was made to be able to hide that. So as you're scrolling, you could see all of the data. I think it came back as you were scrolling up, yeah. So I don't know, it was a fun little thing. I actually don't think that I'm just scrolling through this. My style, obviously, this was back in the Java days. Look at that. But my style of blogging hasn't really changed in 6 years. I've kind of always followed the same uh, recipe for every blog post, which is just like tons of code samples paired with why we're doing something. It's very like step by step to if you were to follow through with this. Maybe I'll make a modernized look at that support. This is even before Android X. This makes this blog post feel ancient beyond being 6 years old. Um, just like the dependencies in the language. Um, Maybe we make a 2021 version where we scroll through a lazy column and we show and hide our floating action button. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if the material scaffold did something like that out of the box, but I doubt it. But we could totally build something like that. But yeah, I'm just kind of rambling on um, because I don't have a ton planned today, although that's kind of a segue into one idea I did have is deprecated annotation. Yeah, of course. Um, One thing I did want to talk about tonight, and I'll wait a little bit as people trickle into the stream, but I want to talk about future streams and some ideas that I have um, moving forward. And get some people who are here in chat, get you all involved in that process and your thoughts, especially Trax and others who have been in the stream for a while and are regulars here. Would love to hear your insights on what I'm thinking. But I just wanted to talk through some stuff since I've been gone for 2 weeks. Maybe later I can show off some of the vacation photos from that trip. But um, Yeah, what else? I actually, so I was looking at this and I thought that my first post was actually one of mine. Sorry, hold on. Trying to find a so I wrote this post, which was apparently like my third blog post, which was comparing Recycle View versus List View. It's very funny. This post is okay, so next week it will be 6 years old. And when I look at Google Analytics, this actually remains one of my top blog posts, like to this day. And that actually surprises me that like people are still looking into that. Um, I feel like we've had Recyclaview. Well, we've had Recyclaview for 6 years now. So it's really fascinating to see that people are still investigating and understanding the difference between the two. Um, so yeah, it's very funny. I've written, I don't know, there's 11 pages of blog posts in here, and my third to oldest one is still my most popular. Um, but that's good. I'm glad it's helpful. Um, yeah, thanks for indulging me in that trip down memory lane. Um, it's a shame that I haven't blogged in a while. I think my last blog post, yeah, this was back in March. I used to try to be super rigid about it, but that's just unfortunately not easy. Um, and sometimes it's something nicer to write when I like feel like I have stuff to write about. But I've done a lot of stuff since March. I definitely could have filled out some more of these. But now that we have a few people here, I can talk about some ideas for future streams. So let me give some historical context to this. So when I started streaming, which was a little over a year ago, actually, um, one of my ideas was that like a lot of science and tech streamers do is building an app from start to finish, like recording the whole thing, doing it live, um, giving people that experience of like seeing something built in production out there in the open. And we've done that. We've worked on this study guide app. If you haven't seen this, exclamation point GitHub in the chat. But this is like a study guide that pulls a list of blog posts from that blog I was just looking at. Um, and everything in here was live streamed. One of the problems is in the craziness that was last year for a whole number of reasons. I wasn't always great about recording these streams. You know, it's like kind of half-assed what is on YouTube. The playlist hasn't been updated in like half a year. Um, Not even all of the streams got recorded. Um, but I've gained a lot of following in the last few months, even weeks really. And so I've been thinking about restarting this idea. I've learned a lot more about streaming. Um, you can see a difference just in the overlay compared to when I started streaming. Um, like the music before I started, I've spent a lot of resources getting better at streaming, and I've thought about taking that opportunity now to restart that idea and have a new central focus of our streams. At least for now, I've also talked about I would love to have like one day focused on building an app and another day focused on something else. Um, or like random topics we want to explore, for example. But if we're going to restart this, I've been having an internal debate on whether I want to kickstart the study guide idea or I want to build something new. And I had an idea of a new app that I was going to show off like super, super, super basic screenshots of what I was thinking, and then maybe get some chat's opinion on whether or not that might be a fun thing to build on stream. And then I think I actually have some ideas on how we could make that a little better, specifically around like I think another reason the study guide streams fell apart is because when I started, I really only had like 5 or 6 streams planned out in my head. And then when those ideas ran out, I like showed up every Wednesday having no idea what we were going to work on. And we found some things and we had fun, but the problem was it just never felt like cohesive um, after a while. And so I was thinking if I were to start a new app from scratch, that we would actually spend some time and maybe even do this on streams of like planning out the app first. Um, I even thought this could be really silly, like we could either look at mockups or something together. Um, but we could also even like set up like GitHub issues and like I'm not gonna say the word. I'm gonna say it. but almost do like planning and scoping of the project. And then, but that would be really good because that would help give me guidance into what we're going to build over several streams, um, as well as make a plan for upcoming streams so people know what to expect. And then we don't have this problem where I show up on Wednesday and I have no idea what we're going to be doing, right? Like it helps me stay organized. And I think that, I talk about my streams and how I want to teach people Android development, but I also focus on some of these other things that aren't just code, right? Whether it's documentation, static analysis. And I think issue tracking and bug reporting are part of that process. And in previous streams, those haven't really been a focus. So if we go with an idea of restarting with a new sort of app to build, like next week or the week after, we would dedicate a stream just to like planning it out. And that would allow us to look at actually a lot of cool tracking tools that exist inside GitHub that we might not even know about. Like, if you've ever used like Jira or Trello or any of those Kanban board tools, you might not know that GitHub actually has a version of that built in where you can drag and drop cards as you go through. And then that's another way to have transparency on this project of like where it stands. So that's my long spiel. One idea is we restart this with the study guide. One idea is chat gives me an idea of something you'd like to see built, or I will keep rambling and I will tell you this idea that occurred to me while I was on vacation around a to-do list app. These come up a lot, and I think sometimes people are tired of seeing to-do list apps as resources, which is fair, right? Because it feels like we're building the same thing over and over again. And that's one reason people might hate using to-do list apps in the first place, is because like there's so many, right? But when I think about to-do list apps, one of the things I think about, part of the reason there's so many, is because everyone likes to stay organized in a different way, right? So one idea is I could build an app that helps me stay organized. And the consequence of that is it might not work for all of you, but it can still be fun to see how it's built. Or where I really wanted to go with this sort of sentimental aspect was, staying organized is hard, especially for people who have like ADHD or just for any number of reasons, right? Like staying organized is really difficult. And sorry, I'm tripping up over the words for this, but that's not always something that is can be solved by technology, right? Like part of the problem with staying organized is like just being able to focus, feeling motivation, fighting off the negative feelings like guilt and stress and overwhelmingness. And sometimes when you have an app designed to keep you organized, and apps, their focus is user engagement, right? Sometimes they can be counterproductive. Like, I'm the kind of person, if it takes me like some mental effort to complete a task, and then someone reminds me of it before I'm ready to do it, like I get all stressed and then I want to start over. And so I think of like to-do list apps that are like, that send me notifications and reminders. Like, unless I've explicitly opted into it, like, that's almost counterproductive to the process. So one of my ideas was like, what if I could take that and like build like a wholesome to-do list app that would have like that would try to keep that in mind as people use it and try to like offer words of encouragement and help in getting organized. And an app that like didn't make you feel guilty if you didn't complete a task, and one that like congratulates you as you are completing tasks and remind you that you're doing a great job. Those are some high level ideas. So I wrote some like super rough mock-ups here of like what this might look like, right? And there's just three. So let me talk through about like what I think like this could be versus like a traditional app. It's like an onboarding flow that's like got these nice colors that says, hey, like congratulations on your journey to getting organized, right? Like we know that getting organized is difficult, and like that alone takes a leap for a lot of people. So starting off right away, like feeling good about this step. Um, yes, exactly what Track says. Like one to remind you that you're not as bad as you believe, right? Um, so like another example is like as you're completing tasks, even just completing tasks, we could throw a pop-up that says like, congratulations, you've completed a number of tasks. And I've actually thought about, I would actually, given everything I just said, I would change the wording on this screen to not include the number. Like, to just say like, you've completed a number of tasks, like you're doing great. I think one of the problems with numbers on screens like this, or statistics around like a to-do list app, is that it adds to like gamification, right? And I don't want to create an app where people are screenshotting and being like, I've completed this number of tasks, and then people who didn't feeling bad about it. So I'd actually change this wording to just like congratulate people on completing something they were working on. Um, you know, I kind of went back and forth on that. I think like some stats might be helpful to people. Also, hi Benny, great to see you too. Um, like what I really thought of for the pop-up was like if you complete a task, let's say you enter a task and it takes you a very long time to complete it for any of number of reasons, like then it's almost especially important to like throw a pop-up and say like, hey, this must have been really difficult for you, but you finally got through it. And you should be proud of that. Like we don't need to say or remind the user how long. We don't have to be like, this took you 6 months, but we could like do that check programmatically and then show an encouraging message like, hey, this took you a long time, but you finally got through it. You should be proud of that. Um, and similarly, I thought like we could even offer like inline messages of encouragement, right? Like if we were showing test by timeline, we could like have this, divider in the middle that says, hey, these tests have been here a while. Um, but like offer encouragement or help on like how people could get through them. Like consider breaking them into smaller tasks or asking for help if you need it. Because one of the ideas I'm thinking of is like if we want to make this wholesome to-do list app that's helping people, and we see that there are tasks that we assume are difficult for people, like there's a reason for that. We don't need to make people feel guilty by reminding them how long it's been or like showing them how long it's been sitting there, right? But just like, what do you need to do to get this done? Like that's what really matters. That's what helps people. So trying to keep that theme as like something we could center around the app. Um, so those are my ideas. I think this is something that like I would benefit from because I definitely have like struggles around motivation with staying organized. So something like this would be helpful to me no matter what. But just curious if chat likes this idea and if you think this would be a cool thing to build on streams moving forward. But we've got an idea from Hallie written here. Let me read this. So an intelligent grocery list app lets you scan barcodes of products and remembers your last list to suggest items. During shopping, it will learn the order you're crossing out items and present them in a similar order next time so you're not searching around the store. Interesting. I could see something like that being helpful. Um, I wonder that there might be some sort of public API out there for scanning public barcodes to food items and stuff. My wife would love you. Yeah. I mean, something I like what you said about like learning the order, right? So it knows where in the story you are. I think that would be super. That would help me. Like every time I go to the grocery store, which is never, but like twice a year, I always forget where things are located. That's a really good idea. So anyone in chat have thoughts either on the new ideas or one of the two ideas I talked about on what you think would be interesting for streaming about in the future? And I don't think we have to decide today. Saw a number of people who couldn't attend this stream on Twitter. And so I'm thinking of putting this conversation up on YouTube and encouraging some people to take part in it and or writing a blog with my ideas to gather feedback and see what other people would think about. Um, because I actually have a decent YouTube audience. My YouTube audience is like double my Twitch audience. So a lot of people are going back and rewatching these streams. So I want to make sure that people who aren't here live also have a say in what they want to learn about, what they want to see. So I'm going to find some way to make sure they get incorporated in that. Um, and then if we do feel like coding, might just like start creating this project anyways, because like I said, it's something I would like to do, but Um, I would probably limit how much I do on stream, unless I got like a unanimous thing in chat, like, we want to do this, then we'll just start on it today. Um, Also open to naming ideas, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, I don't want to trash the study guide app, but starting over with um, new practices like compose right from the beginning, right? Benefits I've learned from streaming would definitely show better on new ones. So, but then it's just a question of like what is that new app, right? Um, Also open to naming. So rough idea, hear me out. You know how like I talked about this as wholesome and helpful, and like how one, it made me think of one. Some people's love language is words of affirmation. We could call this tasks of affirmation. TOA, tasks of affirmation. Just a thought, right? Um, but that could change. Mobile game says I think you should just do something new. Just learning Android, so a fresh app would be great to follow. Also, great feedback. That's been a hard thing for me to think about as a streamer. Is it always starts off great. Like when I do this, it will be really great for the new learners. But then it will eventually hit a point where we're building an existing app and it's not so helpful for new people. And I go through that debate all the time. New people come into the community and I want them to be able to learn from me. So I don't want all of my content to be intermediate or advanced focused. And I try not to, even when we're working on existing stuff. We've had new people come into stream, and I always try to be helpful. Um, and I have like that recap command that I try to encourage people to use. Um, but, mobile games, you specifically, or anybody who is watching this who might be new to Android dev, if you have thoughts on how I can make this more inclusive to people like you, I'd love to hear them. Because I want to find that balance of trying to be able to educate everybody. And that's hard, right? Some streams you can do that. We've looked at some topics that I think really help like everybody, new and experienced. But then other streams, like by nature of what they are, you require like a limited amount of knowledge going into that. My Slack notifications should not be going off. Sorry about that. Let me close Slack. Um, Also hope that wasn't important because I didn't even read it. Having said, see it pragmatically, love to see different technologies, frameworks used together, like having a database in the background or using the camera to see how this all works. Um, Everyone wants to see how the whole resource stuff is set up. Yeah, um, you bring up a really good point that I also struggle with in coming up with these app ideas is um, by nature of apps that just like make API calls and pull some data, um, there's a lot of segments of Android that I'm not talking about, right? Like I'm not talking about cameras. I'm not talking about background jobs or like work manager. I'm not talking about I don't know, what am I missing? Any sort of sensor integration. Um and I think people would be interested in those things. And you know, I don't know if the solution is to find an app that has that all, or if that solution goes back to structuring how I stream where, I stream more than once a week and I have a week dedicated to this contiguous project and a day dedicated to exploring random stuff that I might not get a chance to. And that would be a really cool, like, series of streams around how do you work with the camera? How do you work with like the gyroscope? Um, I don't know, things like that. Just a thought. I'm working on it. The problem, I mean, I keep saying this because I would love to pick up a second day, uh, but life gets busy and it's hard, right? Um, Sorry, that was a Slack notification on my phone and it was not important. Life is busy and it's hard, but I would love to find time, uh, make some more. Because we've also talked about like viewer count. I'd love to be able to reach more people when we do this live. But I think the timing that I stream is difficult. But also just I talked to some other like the one or two other Android dev streamers I know, and no one seems to have like the amount of traffic that like some of the web devs do, but maybe that's a number of people. But speaking of that, before I forget, some of you might see it in the Twitch title, but we've got a Nightbot command for tonight. If you do CWTI, it reminds you all that wait, why didn't it go? Maybe it was a Nightbot timeout. Hold on. But Sunday, I'll be on Code with the Italians. Oh, now it goes twice. To talk about Swipe to Dismiss and Jetpack Compose. So, yes, what Trek said. I'll be on Twitch this weekend. Um, that's like Sunday morning, Eastern US time. I think it's like Sunday evening over in Italy. But do follow them on Twitch, and feel free to come hang out. Some of you who are regulars here have already seen Swipe to Dismiss and Compose. But we'll be able to take what we learned together and share that off with Sebastian and Ivan, I think is the other person's name. So. All right, that was all of my talk, all of my thoughts from this entire day and the last 2 weeks, dumped into the last 30 minutes and 20 seconds. So I have an hour and a half left to kill before I have to get off of here. So what do we want to do for an hour and a half? Um, if we like this idea, we could talk about it a little bit. Maybe without doing some coding, but like I don't know, list out like features that would be fun, or we could take the opportunity to explore something different tonight. Um, did anything new come out in Android in the last 2 weeks since I was on vacation? I did see one interesting thing actually. Um, let me find it real fast. Um, this would be cool. Yeah, so some of you may be familiar with Material Components Android. Maybe make a GitHub public project to track the roadmap. Um, almost certain that much of it has to do with consistency of streaming. Yeah, that's possible. Um, I would say that I stream pretty consistently, but one of the problems being I only stream once a week and for like an hour or two max. Um, oh, question from Trax. Can we navigate, not compose, so existing navigation component, from one nested graph to another without referencing each one and the other one? I don't know the answer to that. The only time I've seen that done is you have to have that reference, but I don't know the answer to that. Um, so Matt's point, yeah, maybe I'll just make a public repo and I'll track some ideas. Uh, we'll do that. Catching up with everything. Yeah, so I just want to talk about one cool thing that I saw in the Android world before we move on. So many of us are familiar with the Material Components Android repo. I will drop this in here if you're not, but this is what allows us to implement material design. So I'm pretty sure that like this repo has like card views and um, resources and colors that like match with material design and stuff. Um, and just a couple days ago, actually yesterday, they pushed to release 1.5.0 Alpha 3. It's still an alpha release, but what's really exciting is targeting API 31, which is Android 12, but early access preview of Material 3, which I believe is code word for Material U, which was announced at Google I/O, where we'll be able to see like styles and everything that match like an overall system material theme. So here's a whole bunch of stuff: top bat bars, fab styles, button styles, chip styles, etc., etc. A whole long list. I haven't looked at this yet. Um, I don't know if there's a composed version yet. Uh, I don't have an app explicitly using what's the word? Explicitly using like XML components anymore to test this out on, but that would be some cool stuff. I do have, if none of you are using the beta, I do have a version of a phone with Android 12 on it that has some cool material use stuff. But let me see. I should probably change my background because I don't want to use this person's picture. But like, let's do this. Let me change my background and then I'll show off some material use stuff real quick. I did see that Chris Baines is no longer with Google. Um, sorry, I am looking down at my phone because I'm going to connect this over ADB and then I'm going to screen share to show y'all something cool. Um, so just give me one moment while I do that. Um, I'm doing this off screen uh, so that y'all don't see the what I'm typing in here. But I'm here, I promise. So, Chris Baines was on the Android team. I think he worked on the UI toolkit, or maybe just really well known for a lot of UI libraries. But yeah, he was uh, super well known there. Ooh, okay. I might need to. I think I need to update screen copy. Um, because I don't think it works with Android 12, or the version I had didn't work with Android 12. I didn't think this through. Um, let me figure out. I forgot how we installed screen copy. Do we literally have to download it from them? No, wait, that's what it is. Oh, through upgrade screen copy. All right, so it might take a second for me to upgrade. Yeah, I downloaded screen copy right when like I was gonna do a stream the day the beta came out. Um, but then that didn't happen. All right, that's running off screen. We'll see how long that takes. But yeah, I guess we could do a public repo, like Matt said, and talk through an ideas. Um, let's do that real quick. Oh, apparently I have to sign in. Aha. Do I have Authy on this phone? I do not. I have it on this phone. Oh, nice. Okay. Let us make a new repository. What is it? Tasks of Affirmation. Do we like this name idea? What do we think? Right? TOA. Should I just call it TOA in the repository though? I guess I could. And I'll give it the full app name. This will be easier for people to remember and search it up, I think. A wholesome do list application for staying organized and feeling good. Partial to Cuddly Carnival? Am I missing a reference? That's oddly specific. Feel like I'm missing a reference there. Oh, okay. Yep, I was missing a reference. Wait, no, I don't actually want that though. That's funny. I wonder how they generate those. I have thought about a Wear OS stream, and I think I was kind of waiting for. Um, actually, Matt would know the answer to this. Do they have Compose support already, or no? Um, but I have been thinking about a Wear OS stream. Yeah, and I was waiting for there to be Compose support. That's also why I haven't done a widget stream yet. Um, but I should look at the roadmap and see how far away those things are, because if compose for Wear or compose for widgets is really far away, then I could still do it, and then we could just redo the stream later. But I'm actually curious why it doesn't work out of the box. Uh, I'm not sure what's up with that. Uh, nice. Okay, so I'm gonna create this repo. Um, and we can either do a roadmap or I can do the yeah, we'll start with making a roadmap. But while we're here, wait. Um, apparently I did brew upgrade screen copy, um, but it still crashed. Um, is there a way to see my current version? Um, does anyone know if you can like actually here, let me just look this up real quick. Add to see current version. Homebrew. Ah, I can do brew info. Um, there's a lot going on here. But is that my current version? Um, okay. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but I will dig into that. Wait, what are remote views? Where and widgets use remote views? I don't know what those are. Gotta hydrate. Cheers. Whoops, the lid is on. I see. Remote view is limited to support for the following layouts. Um, so can I hack this and put a compose view inside of a frame layout inside of a remote view? Because I know that's possible. We did that. Huh. Maybe we can look at that one day. Compose for Wear OS. Let's see if there's something about it. Oh, we've got an Android X.Wear.compose. Um, I see. So this is in early alpha stages still. This says Alpha 05 if you could read that. Um, so it sounds like it technically exists. It's just not stable yet. Um, that's cool. So all right, let's go back to our a TOA repo here. Um, and I guess let's talk about like so um let's come back to this projects tab. Let's make a couple issues Um, let's make a couple issues of what we want to work on. But actually, I'm sitting here thinking about something that would be nice to add from the beginning are like issue templates. Not sure if any of you have seen those, but we did a stream where we looked at pull request templates. There's also ways to create issue templates. I forgot how to do that. Let me see if I can find it in settings. I might have to look it up. Let's start by trying to make like a an issue template. Oh, I don't just have to Google it. Um, and we can make something like that. And I'll show you why that's cool. Okay, so we go to settings, features, setup templates. That's down there. Okay, so let's do this real quick. So if we go to settings, wait, where's features? Features, setup templates, right in front of me. Let me zoom in again so y'all can see this. So at the settings, features, and we've got this setup templates button right here. So if we do this, we can add like a feature request, which is what we're going to start with for sure. And then we can preview and edit this. So this is actually really nice. Let's edit and oh, this widget is really cool. I'm not used to seeing this. So we can give it a name. We'll call this feature request. Do I want to call it feature request or do I want to do I want to make this like a task or something? Because I'm thinking about if I make tasks for everything, I kind of want like a template just for that. Maybe we skip the feature request template for now. Maybe we just kind of fill out some issues ourselves, and then as we go, maybe we can add this up. So, what do we need to build aside from like everything? Because we would need like an onboarding. So, sorry, my brain's jumping all over the place. Let me try to tell you where my brain is jumping. So with building a complicated app like this, we also have to have a debate on like how functional we want it to be from the start. Like, do we want to consider like users being able to create some account and logging in with that account in the future? And like, would we use some sort of backend to deal with that? Would we use some sort of like remote backend to saving items, or would we just save everything locally on the device? I think like on one hand, I'd kind of rather just like build something that works locally on the device, and then if we do that right with proper abstractions and stuff, building something that would be supported by some remote backend becomes a lot easier, right? Um, so hmm. Actually, well, with that, we can even get more meta, and we can start off by putting some of the meta stuff, right? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So let's throw that in there. Like, let's add um, Google sign in. So um, rather than inputting username and password, let's allow the user to sign in or create an account with their Google login. Okay, we can do that. Do we want to give these labels? Maybe not right away. Uh, we'll talk about projects in a second. I want to add a few more tickets. But okay, so we'll do that. I also had this idea of like some of the more meta stuff. So we could say like add, we could talk about some of the tooling that we plan to use in this project. So for me, I love KT Lin. which is a static analysis tool from Pinterest that makes sure your code is formatted correctly. So let me look it up. Actually, there's a Gradle plugin that I'm gonna use here. This one. Add this plugin to ensure that we always have formatted code. Okay, so that's one thing we're going to need to do. We are also going to need to add detect. If you're not familiar with detect, that is yet another static analysis tool. I think it's this literally um, for checking for code smells. So detect is really good about checking for like magic numbers. Are your files too long? Are your methods too long? Uh, so we could do this. So adding detect allows us to um, ensure we have no code smells or other complexities. Um, what else are we going to need to add? Well, we're going to need to, I like to add Git hooks to run static analysis checks. So for example, I like to write like a pre-commit hook that will format all of my code before it gets committed and pushed up to GitHub. So we could say, adding Git hooks allows us to ensure code is formatted. Yes, what Matt said. Make sure user has reason to yell at the machine. Pushed up. And there's actually speaking of Sebastian, with Code with the Italians, Sebastian has this incredible blog post that I just today realized was written by him. I have used this Holy Grail for like 3 years now. Um, that's actually about how old it is. Every time I make a new project, I use this to understand Git hooks and how to use them to run these static analysis checks. Um, And what was the other one? Oh, we are going to say add GitHub Actions. Oh, we want to add danger. I did that in the last app. We'll do this again for PR automation. So adding danger. Let's look that up real quick. That's actually danger.systems. Yep. And I typically use the Ruby one. So let's say adding danger uh, allows us to automate tedious pull request checks. So don't worry if you're not familiar with the tools, the three tools that I just named. I think all three of those can go in their own stream where we get started with the repo. We can add all of these things first. But with that, we will want to say add GitHub Actions to validate code. So running GitHub Action allows us to ensure test path code is formatted um, and run danger checks. Okay. So we wrote down a list of issues. Specifically, these last five um, would be really cool for which one sounds badass? Danger or the Git hooks? Um, but I think these last ones would be really good for like their own individual stream. I love these tools. I love talking about them. Yeah. Were you not there for the danger stream that I did before? If you haven't seen it, I'll see if it's on YouTube. It might not be, or I'll just let you know when the next one is coming. It's one of my favorite tools out there. Um, so let's talk about projects. This was the thing I was going to show off that people might not know exists. So you can organize your issues with project boards. Um, Set up a project board on GitHub to streamline and automate your workflow. So they highlight a few things here that you can do, like you can sort tasks and prioritize them um, by status. You can set up triggering events to save time, um, tracking progress. Each card has a unique URL, making it shareable. That's nice. Um, it sounds like you can close your project board, which is interesting. I don't know. I thought project boards and GitHub were meant to be like a sort of living thing, but it sounds like maybe not. They should be for individual things. So, what if we made a project board for like you can have multiple projects in one repo? That makes sense, I guess. So, Matt, do you have any idea? Well, so thoughts. Do we want more than one for this board, and if for this project, and if yes, how would we split it up? Like we could make a project that is for like the MVP. Um, we could make a project for um like what's the word? All the tickets we just made go into their own project, which is like um developer friendliness, app initialization. There's gotta be a better word for this. Um, but we could take the sort of meta developer experience. Thank you. We are creating a developer experience project. Um, this project is to track all tickets related to developer experience and maintenance of the code base itself. Cool. Um, apparently there are templates here. I think I'm going to start with blank and configure it ourselves. Um, but yeah, this will be a project. I think this sounds good. Speak now, although I can probably edit any of this. Um, let's create a project and see what we get. All right, this project doesn't have any columns or cards. So let's add columns. I think I'm going to add the sort of what I think are standard Kanban columns. So we'll have our to-do. Um, I'm not going to worry about automation yet. Let's create our columns, and then hopefully I can like edit automation later. Um, yeah, so let's create our columns. We've got to-do. We can have in progress. Um, do we want... Okay, so since I expect to be the only one working on this, I don't think I'm going to make a code review column. So I think I'm basically going to do to-do, in progress, and done. Um, and then if that ever changes, if we ever get more contributors, we could have like a code review column here. Um, that's cool. We've got cards blocked. Again, unsure if I'll ever use that, but you know what? Let's add it. There could be some reasons. Uh, yeah, I meant that as, hold on. I'm not trying to toot my own horn here and be like, I'll never be blocked. I'll finish everything. Um, I just meant like also wait, why are you not there we go. I just meant like I usually do finish things in a stream. But maybe for some reason, maybe I do get stuck one day and we want to mark it as blocked. We can totally do that. Okay, so we've got our columns. Maybe I zoom out a little bit more now so you can see them. But then I feel like you can't see anything. So we'll go here. Let's add cards first. Oops. Can I? Nice. So I can add cards right from issues. And I can just drag. Nice. Oh, I love this. And I like that it removes it as well. Um, okay, so all of these things are to do for developer experience. Um, so how do we um, deal with automation? Well, part of this might come from trial and error because uh, I'm not actually going to add any code yet, or maybe we will. Maybe we will. I still have a whole hour left. Let's look at, actually, I don't think I'll ever automate anything. Well, let's look at manage automation and let's see what we get. Um, Interesting. What are these presets? Let me look at in progress then. So if I could manage automation and there's an in progress preset. Ah, here we go. Okay. So let's see. We can move issues here when an issue is reopened. I don't want to do that. Um, hmm. I wanted to see if I could do some automation like when I make a commit that references an issue, move it into this column. And GitHub should be able to do that. Can I not give my own thing? What does to do give us? Um, hmm. So I like this. I could move pull requests based on information. Um, Done. Oh, it's closed. So maybe there's not automation. Well, done, I can definitely do this, right? So I can say for done, I can do done if an issue is closed. Um, the newly added should do that. So you're saying, but it's not, the issues have already been added. Or wait, sorry. Um, so like pull requests I could do, but the thing is it says move pull requests here when. So that's going to move the pull request in and not the issue. Um, Actually, that feels interesting. What would that actually do then? Um, because what happens? Hmm. And then how do I? Do you pick a project when you add a pull request? Is that how you do it? Um, you can reference an issue from a PR, yeah. Um, so maybe we want this, but I should look this up. Let's see, can we get a project? Move ticket based on commit. Let's see if someone has done this before. Oops, someone made a bot for this. Maybe it does this. Um, okay, this is complicated. Um, I think what we'll leave this done automation, but maybe we have to kind of do this manually to start. Um, just something to think about. But I will try my best as we build out this app to tie commits closely to the issue that they're solving. That's definitely something we can work on. Uh, okay, this can be our project board. Um, we could make a new project board for, also, does this now, nice, so I can see the projects that this is. Ooh, I can also move it right from here, right on the issue. So actually, this will work out pretty well. When we start a stream and we say, we're going to do this, we can just move it to in progress right from here. Um, or we can obviously like open up the board and say, this is what we want to work on, and then we can just drag and drop things, as necessary. All right, that's cool. This is I'm actually really looking forward to this. I think this will be fun to make part of our process. But like I said, this will help me stay organized so I can more clearly pick ideas moving forward, um, than just showing up and having no ideas. So let's make a new board. Now I'm having fun with this. Let's make a new project. And actually, let's call this one like onboarding. Um, so this project manages any issues related to getting started with the application. Okay, so um, I'm just looking at the templates. So basic Kanban is basically, I said basic twice. Basic Kanban is the template that we just made, even though we added a blocked column. But, um, ooh, and this gives me some helpful information. Um, but I don't want these. Can I remove cards? I can archive all cards. I don't want that. I just want to remove cards. I don't know what that means. I'm gonna ignore that. Um, okay, so what are we gonna put in here? Well, we're gonna add Google Sign In. That's gonna go in here. Um, do I prefer to use MVVM or clean architecture? I don't think those mean different things. Um, I think there's a lot of overlap between those two statements. I think if you can give me a more specific question, I can try to help, but um, like I do like the MVVM architecture, and I think that it can qualify as clean architecture. Oh no, we've got links. Hold on. Let's we're gonna delete that. And hopefully we don't have any other issues. Um, but welcome from Peru. I'm glad you could join us. We were discussing a new app that we're going to build on stream, and right now we're just kind of creating a bunch of GitHub issues and talking about it. So we're going to build like a to-do list app in upcoming streams, and our plan for today is to just do some organization and write some tickets and give us ideas for upcoming streams in the future. So let's keep going with this onboarding project that we just made. So we have the sign in with Google, or sign up. We could go a step further and just have one that says like create sign in up page or create landing page. And we could say use this page to allow the user to sign in, sign up. You can say this to me. So I think projects, we can, throw this right into onboarding. Now, actually, this is an interesting thing. So will the automation handle that? If I go to projects now, I go to onboarding, the issue is not automatically added. So maybe we should add some automation to these. So for the to-do, anytime I add an issue to this project, I want it to go here. And maybe yes, for reopened. But I don't think, I think I'm gonna have the focus be around issues and not pull requests. So I'm not gonna do any automation with pull requests. Um, but let's add this since it was before the automation. So then I'm also going to go back to developer experience. In case I change this, I'm going to manage automation here. and then update automation. Okay, so newly added ones will get added there. Um, okay, so what else do we need for like an onboarding flow? Well, I guess that would depend on how complex we want it to be. Like, do we want the landing page to just like have sign in with Google? And if we do, maybe the next screen is just like implement welcome screen. So we could say, after the user signs up, show a welcome screen, congratulating. Basically, this idea, like this could be a welcome screen, congratulating the user on getting started on their journey. So congratulate them, um, congratulate them on getting started, to being organized. Um, Maybe this includes a couple screens, depending on how much information we want to show. Okay, so now I'm actually going to look at, oh, look, you can actually see it right here. Added this to do and onboarding via automation now. Okay, so that's all fun. Um, is there anything else for onboarding that we can think of? Um, if the landing page just has the Google Authenticate button, I don't think it really matters if you're signing up or in, right? Because the same button would kind of handle both versions of authentication and then take you to the welcome screen. Um, so maybe the next thing we would think about is like a home screen, um, and what should be involved there. Let me know if you think I've missed anything. Um, I think we could come back and we could add like a more proper onboarding flow that doesn't require Google authentication. Um, but maybe kind of overlooking that idea for right now. Um, what do y'all think? I think we can overlook that for now. Um, and then we could go on to sort of like the home screen and splitting that up into issues. Um, and to do that, let's make a new project. Uh, Home screen to the main screen of the application, showing a list of tasks. And I actually like this because we can take this and we can, oh wait, no, I wanted, hold on. I wanted just delete these. Um, I wanted to use the automated Kanban, but actually it's fine because um, I just want this newly added one. But okay, let's go to issues. And this could be a fun way to write out possibly a number of ideas for uh, a home screen. Which like, okay, so the first one is like create home screen container. So this will probably be composed, but we'll need some sort of basic container uh, to display what's on the home screen, right? Um, Not sure if this should really be its own issue though. Maybe that's too small. Um, where can we start? Let's start with the pieces. So one thing is we're going to need to create a task list item UI. We can just build out the UI to show a task list item. That will include like the data class that powers that item, and then we could even like unit test some stuff about that item, like maybe we show like complete, not complete, et cetera, et cetera. So we can start with that. Uh, Wait, did I not save home screen? Hold on. Projects. No, it's there. Why can't I? Oh, because it's not recent. That makes sense. Um, no, wait, that's not the one. Home screen. There we go. Um, yeah, we can leave it at that. Then we could have like a create task list UI. Um, and then this is really cool. I don't know if you may have seen me use this before. On GitHub, if you put the pound sign, you can reference other issues and pull requests in your repo right from here. So I can specifically say that this is following number 9. Create a list UI that shows multiple tasks in a scrolling fashion. Um, okay, and then this actually creates a hyperlink right here, so I can see that. And then it even shows like inside number 9, right? I see Adam mentioned this issue over here. This is super huge for connecting all of the dots in a GitHub repo. Like, I think this is super helpful. All right, so we've got a new issue. We can search keyword too. Oh yeah, like in the repo search, you mean? Yeah, there's a lot of cool search features there. Um, what else do we want to add on our home screen? Um, wait. Whoa. Oh, so if you put the hashtag, you don't have to, but you don't have to search just by number. I did not know that you could do this. Oh, oh my God, you know how much time this would have saved me in past projects? I'm so glad I learned this. That's very cool. Thank you for sharing that. I'm totally I'm gonna love that. Um, implement empty, empty state. Uh, if the user has not created any tasks, show an empty state. Maybe instructions on how to create them. What do you think, Chad? If we started, okay, so there's probably more to this. Actually, there is a little more to this, which is implement tasks repository. Uh, so implement some data layer allowing us to store and receive tasks that the user has created. So we'll put separate tickets for creating a task, but we will need this ticket for implementing a task repository. And with that, we're also going to need to think about where we're going to actually store and receive those tasks from. So I would vote to start without worrying about a backend that we just store everything locally. So I'm going to say implement room task database to store receive tasks. So again, following, and now I'm going to use this, I'm going to try this out. Number 12, which is the task repository one. Let's create a room implementation for storing tasks. Actually, I'm just going to say store tasks, but it will be implied that we can also retrieve tasks for the home screen. Okay, so brief question for those of you who are still here in chat. If we started writing some tickets for being able to create a task, would you still want those in the home screen? Or do you think we should create a like task creation project? I'm kind of thinking that I don't know. I'm torn. Um, I'm fine with having sort of bigger projects per screen because we can close these and get rid of the clutter later. Um, so I'm kind of leaning towards making uh, a new project for like adding tasks. Modules? Question mark? What do you mean? I meant as far as the GitHub organization, like, do I want to make another one of these for the idea of creating tasks in the to-do list? Or would that just fall under home screen because that's where the user will be when they like click a floating action button to add tasks? Not have those big projects, but as modules for one task. Yeah, so I guess kind of like what we're doing here, right? But the question was just whether adding tasks became a new thing. But I think we can do that. Let's make it a new one. Um, all the tickets related to task creation. Actually, let's call it task management. Um, creation, deletion, completion. Oh my god, what an alliteration. Um, we could put tickets in here like allow user to create a task, allows the user to delete a task, allow user to complete a task, edit a task. Those could all go in here. Um, I could probably archive these notes, but the reason I'm deleting them is because I'm a stickler for um actually wait, does this issue have um for what you call it? Just organization, I guess. We're gonna give this one automation, newly added issues go in here. I should have also said reopen. Let me make sure that the others have that too. Uh, if we ever reopen an issue for some reason, I want to make sure it gets re-added to the project. So sorry while I just check all of those to make sure they're all reopen this check for all of them. Thanks. Okay, so let's add some more tasks. Allow user to create a task. So that will go in the task management project. Um, allow user to delete a task. We can say allow user to. Do we want to provide edit support? I would assume yes. People make typos or whatever else. Like we could say edit a task. Um, and then allow user to complete a task. We are not Twitter. Yes, we can edit. Um, I'm actually going to so I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna change the wording on some things. Uh, inside this task repository, I'm gonna edit this, and I'm gonna say let's just make one to receive tasks. Because when we start with the home screen, that's all it's gonna do, right? It's gonna pull existing tasks, and then I'm gonna make a new issue for update task repository to store update tasks. So um, after after implementing the task repository, let's update and the room one. We'll say we'll just start with tasks. Um, repository to store new and edit new or edited tasks. Um, and actually, I think that means for number 13, um, we should say update to retrieve tasks. Okay, this is fun. I feel I've never felt so organized on a public project before. Look at all these tickets. Look at look at all these projects. I feel very organized. I love it. Um, okay. Trying to decide if we want to keep going. Um, well, we could also talk about ooh, um, where are we gonna put styling? Like maybe we have a design project. I need to make a ticket for uh like implementing a design system. Um, and that ideally happens in the beginning, but it's not necessarily onboarding specific. Um, maybe that's developer experience, also not really because it's kind of meta. So maybe we have a project for like design and branding. Let's do that. Actually, I have ideas of more stuff we could add to that. Um, so manage any tickets related to design or branding updates, such as styling, icons, imagery, etc. Because we could make a ticket for implementing a design system, but also one to make sure that we add like a special icon for this. Um, so let's add that. Let's delete. Um, manage automation. New issues go in here. Okay, let's make some more issues here. By the way, let me post this in chat. I should update my GitHub command to this. I'll do that next week. Um, let's create a couple more issues here. So, um, oh, and maybe before we sign off today, we could update the README project for this to clarify how to find everything, and create a nice little landing page for that. We can do that a little bit. So what do I want to say here? Implement design system. So find a nice color palette that works and update our compose themes to use this palette. And we can say, oh no, a rogue require activity that finish. That sounds painful. Um, is it, oh, you said 4 hours. I was gonna ask if that was worse than when I spent 30 minutes updating the wrong code. Um, that is indeed worse. Uh, implement custom app icon. So they need to commission some help here. But let's add a custom branded icon for this app. All right, 20 issues. We wrote down a lot of good stuff. Um, and we have probably a number of streams of stuff worth updating here. Because within all of these, um, I'm gonna go for, I was gonna say, I'm gonna go for some good code coverage in these streams. We're gonna look at like test-driven development, um, making sure that we can actually do stuff. That reminds me, we should probably add like for like home screen, we're gonna need like a home view model that like deals with the tasks. Actually, yeah. So let's let's talk about like use cases and view models for a little bit. Well, one, we don't have to do these in specific order anymore. One is we're going to need to implement a home view model. So create an Android view model instance that will manage the UI state of the home screen. That's one thing we're going to have to do. Put this in the home screen project. But actually, I talked to Matt about the idea of use cases, and it's not something I had typically done in the past. But I think I want to try them out in this project. So we're going to edit this, and we're going to say implement store task use case and edit task use case. Actually, let's call this store edit delete task use cases. We don't need to make them each their own ticket, but we'll make these for use cases. We'll say we'll have our task repository in our room, but let's add a new one. Implement get tasks use case. So we have like a use case implementation for fetching a list of tasks. I'm not sure if this should be completed tasks or all tasks, but we can work through that more when we get to it. But some other good issues there. But all right, it's 8 o'clock. I do need to start winding down soon. So before we sign off, let's do one other thing here. Let's add a README to this project. It looks like I can't just do it from the web view yet. So let's words. Well, we could create the basic Android template and add a README to that and push that up. That might be a good place to start for tonight. Let's do that. Let's do that real fast. Just because if I push just the README and then everything else, it's kind of annoying. So I'm going to create a new repo. We'll create a README file that has some helpful information. We'll push that up for today, and then we'll call it a night. So we're almost done. Wait a little bit for Android to do its thing. Actually, oh my god, I've got 2 windows coming up. Oh no, I don't want all this. I just want a new project. All right, we will call this empty compose activity. We'll call this tasks of. I'm gonna type out the whole thing, but maybe for the package, yeah, for the package, let's just do TOA and finish. And once this loads, we'll create a README and we'll think about maybe it'll be really good. I don't have to make GitHub issues for these, but I think it would be really good to I'm gonna rename this to TOA theme. But to focus on documentation throughout this. So I've had good streams before where we write good inline documentation, but it'd be really good to maybe write some markdown files to document like app architecture and stuff as we go. Sorry for this to build. What do y'all think, those of you who are hanging out, what do you think about GitHub projects? Does this look, I mean, this looks pretty standard if you've used other Kanban things before, but do you feel like this will be helpful in the streams to do more organization like this and be able to follow along with the progress? Or do you think I've gone overboard? It's too late, it's happening, but if I went overboard, I'm still curious. let's rename this. Okay, you do like it. Great. Or you're saying, yes, you went overboard. TOA theme. Okay. Uh, new file. Okay, so title, say you do like it. Great. Purpose of this application is to help users stay organized. Whoops, let's do this. In their day-to-day lives, without feeling the pressure or guilt that can sometimes arise from traditional to-do list applications. As we build out this project, our goal will remain on how we can look after users and provide a wholesome and helpful experience as they become and stay organized. Okay, so what else do I want to add to this? I guess that's the highlight for now. I'll probably put another markdown file that I do separately that is like stream history to help people find the YouTube videos and stuff. Maybe we'll talk about that next week as we really get started. Um, maybe I can fill some out, so like stream history. Uh, this will be filled out in the near future as we begin the endeavor to stream the building of this application. I don't know why I'm putting comments in a markdown file. Maybe I wanted to clarify that this was like still happening. Maybe I'll just bold it. Um, I think it's a 2 to bold it. I think it is. Um, let's add a thing about purpose. So the purpose, or rather, uh, this, yes, we are going to be starting a new project. So we haven't built anything today. All we did, I'll post actually, I still have it in here. I'll post the link in chat. We just started talking about it today. We made a bunch of GitHub issues that we'll work through in some upcoming streams. But yeah, we're kickstarting a new project that we're going to be building on live streaming. Um, application will be built live on Twitch. Let's is it here? I'm gonna talk in third person here because I want to clarify that this is my Twitch channel, but I don't want to use the word my in case other people end up contributing to this in the future. Um, all streams will be recorded and archived on YouTube, and I'll also plug my YouTube over here. Um, for a detailed. No, I don't think you're too late. I think the problem was that I wasn't good about archiving the study guide project well enough. And I also started it before I really had a good grasp on streaming well. And so I'm ready to just kickstart with a better idea. But yeah, hopefully this will bring in some new people. Um, I'll probably also blog about this, especially like soon. So when we really kick it off next week, hopefully we can get new people involved. And have a lot of fun doing that. Recording, stream, history. Uh, actually, that once we have a stream history page, uh, we should add that context here as well. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm just gonna add that note. Um, we'll add the stream history page kind of next stream once I have some better planning in place. or just once I have streams to talk about. Um, Anything else I can include in the README? Right off the bat, I don't think so. Um, Maybe just like a oh organization. All work on this project should be recorded in a relevant issue, and then we can do referencing issues page, um, and tied to a corresponding GitHub. Oh no. Uh, Sorry, hold on. I have to respond to this text message real quick. Um, this might be important. Okay. Yeah, I need to wrap up. We just had something come up. I'm really sorry about that. Um, I'm actually done. I think I'll stop with this. I need to go take care of something, and then I will push this up to GitHub. Uh, I'll be sure to tweet out the link. Like I said, I'll probably write like a blog post about this new endeavor and try to get people in. But yeah, thank you all for joining me this week. I'm really glad to be back after the 2 weeks off. And I really like what we've uh, got. Yeah, we're okay. We had some puppy accidents, so I need to go help clean up. Uh, but yeah, I will see you all next week, and thank you all for your help with this new endeavor. I'm really looking forward to it. Um, yeah, I'm gonna go help clean up. I will see you all next week. Thanks so much.